And right now on the phones, we have Josh Todd of Buckcherry calling in. Are you there, Josh?
What's up, man? Yeah, I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to speak to you. Where are you calling from? I think you guys just started touring again, didn't you?
Yeah, we finished the Alice Cooper tour, and now we're doing our own headlining shows, and today we're at a day off in St. Charles, Illinois.
Nice. Yeah, I saw you were opening up for Alice Cooper. That must have been pretty awesome.
It was really amazing. He's he's a legend, and on top of it, he's such a nice person, and the band, the crew, everybody treated us really, really well, and it was just it was one of those experiences that we'll never never forget. You know what I'm saying?
I can imagine. I mean, through your history, you guys have played with so many legendary bands. Kiss, AC/DC, not the Stones.
Not the Stones.
Not
no,
the Stones.
That would have been the be all.
I was going to say, I know you covered the Stones. Motley Crue. You're on that Motley Crue tour like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. We did Crue Fest, and we got to play with AC/DC. We did like 4 shows with them. That was incredible. And, the list goes on. We got to play the Millennium New Year's show in Osaka, Japan with Aerosmith. That was great.
Wow.
Toured with Kiss a lot. That was fun.
It must be interesting because you go in and out, it seems, to opening for some of these bands, then headlining plenty of shows yourself. Do you like to kind of mix it up like that?
It's all the same approach when we get on stage. We hadn't opened up for somebody in a long time, so it was the first time we'd done 45-minute sets in a long time, and it was actually pretty nice for us, because you get a lot more rest. It's not as much output, physical output. So it was a nice, easy tour for us, which hasn't happened in a while. So we enjoyed it. But then there's also, we don't get that time on stage to really cultivate a set where we can put all of our songs in that we like to have a lot of dynamics, and that's what you get to do when you do a headlining set,
Sure, it's definitely a trade-off. So you guys are going to be playing locally in a few weeks on June 4th at the Ocean View Pavilion, which you're headlining. This venue's in Port Hueneme, which I've actually never been to this venue. Have you ever been there yourself?
I'm sure we have, but I'd have to see it to trigger my memory.
Yeah, they do some concerts a year, but it's not like like the Canyon Club. I saw you guys in the Canyon Club last September, which was a great show. After all these years of being into your band, it was the first time I got to see you, and I was blown away.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you remember that show, but it was memorable for me, A, because it was the first time I got to see you. B, was my first show I saw towards the end of COVID, or I guess we're still in it, but the first show I went to in the last couple of years. And C,
right.
I don't know if you remember. Do you remember the special guest that jumped up on stage with you at that show? Played the last song with you?
I can't remember. No, I mean, we've done so many shows. Like, we're over 150 right now since June 1st of last year.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
So you'd have to refresh my memory.
No problem. Richie Kotzen.
Oh, Richie Kotzen, yes. Such a lovely guy and so talented. We're all really big fans. That was a lot of fun. And then we got to do the what was it? The Monsters of Rock cruise, Stevie? Is that it? Yeah, and Richie was on that. We played on that cruise, which was a lot of fun. A lot of great bands.
Yes, so I wonder, because I saw Richie in the audience. He was actually right next to me during the show. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Richie's checking out the band. And then he disappears, and he winds up on stage. I mean, did you know him previously to that? I mean, you must have worked this out some part ahead of time that he was going to play with you. Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, we have a mutual friend in Los Angeles. That's how I met Richie. It was over at his house one time, and we just became friends, and I would see him from time to time at my friend's house. And that, we never really got on stage together until that moment, but we would play basketball and hang out, he'd have pool parties there, and I'd go over there, and Richie was always there, and we always were friendly, and I went and saw him one time at a small club in Los Angeles, and I had never heard him sing. I didn't know anything about Richie's singing. I knew that he was a great guitar player, but I didn't know that he sang, and he had all these songs, and I went and saw him. This was way before he joined us on stage, and I was like, wow, he's so amazing. Like, I love his voice. He's very soulful, and, you know, he's such a great frontman. And so I just became a fan at that point. And then, you know, cut to the Canyon Club. It was just a good time, and we asked him, and he was, like, happy to join us. It was cool.
That was really cool. And similar to you, I only became aware of Richie's vocals when he released the Winery Dogs album. And then I saw him. He actually played here in Ventura not long ago with Adrian Smith, the Smith-Kotzen Project. That was really cool. Really cool. So yeah, I guess...
he's... anything he does, he really makes it cool, you know, any project he gets involved with.
Yeah. Have you had any other, like, surprise guests for the last year or so and over your 150 shows that just surprised the audience with?
I got to be a surprise guest and sing "School's Out" with Alice 2 times, and that was incredible. So
that is awesome.
I'll really enjoy that one for my rest of my life here. Thinking back on that one,
absolutely,
he's a legend.
You know, and it's amazing. You know, I remember. It's funny. I was going through my CD collection because I've been into your band since I first had Lit Up, and I want to talk a little bit about your history because you really did just like blow up out of nowhere. You know, Lit Up came out and was huge, and I have this CD here. I don't know if you heard of the Friday Morning Quarterback. They're a industry magazine CD. They put out CDs of new artists, and I'm holding this in my hand. This is where I first heard of your band in 1999. You were on this with Lit Up, and bands like Fuel, let's bring it back to the time here, Fuel, Johnny Lang, Honky Toast, and Stained, Degeneration, Green Spoon, Ruth, all on the CD here. And I'm like, wow, this is where it all began. And you were a bit different at the time, and I was so psyched that you became successful with that song and became huge. And then the second album, which I really liked, Time Bomb, and then you kind of seemed to fade away a little bit. And I was always curious. I know the album didn't do as well, but was the hiatus due to your, you know, the different band members, or did the record company kind of drop the bomb after that second album? Like, what do you think happened around that time?
I mean, that's a long answer. You know, I mean, a lot of things happened after the first record. You know, the label was brand new when we had that first record. We gave them their first gold record with the first Buckcherry record on DreamWorks, and it was really a magical time. You know, Lit Up becoming a hit, and you know, For the Movies and songs like that. You know, Check Your Head, and then there was like this power struggle going on with us and our A&R guy before we dropped Time Bomb. You know, they had greenlit the record, they loved the record, and then Tom Green put out a movie called Road Trip, and he was putting out a soundtrack, you know, a record for the movie, and we just submitted a cover song that was like this really rough demo we did in our rehearsal room of a drama-rama song called Anything.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And so we just submitted it, and they liked it, and they wanted that version, and so we got it. We had some professional mixer like mix it right, because it was, you know, it was pretty sloppy, the recording, but everybody seemed to like it. They liked the vibe on it, so we gave it to them, and they put it on the soundtrack, and we didn't think anything of it. And then, you know, our A&R guy at the time really wanted us to, like, put that on the record and go with that as a first single, and we were like, what? You know, and looking back, probably should have just done it, because would have kept the momentum with our label, and, you know, it may have been the right move at the time, but, you know, our pride, we wanted to write our own songs. We believed in our own songs. We already had a hit with our
you already proved they were
songs.
Successful, sure, yeah.
Yeah, and so our argument was like, hey, you guys already greenlit our record. Is there something wrong with our record? You know, if you want, we can just write more songs until you guys are happy. And they were like, no, we're good. You can put out your record. And they came off the whole anything thing. And then it was like, we went out on tour, and all the momentum stopped with our label and the promoting of our record, and we stayed out there on our own and promoted it as long as we could, you know. So I always tell people, like, Time Bomb is like the long lost record, because you know, the real Buckcherry fans know about that record, and it's a really great record, it got just lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
But like the newer school BC fans that got into us, and when Crazy Bitch hit, they don't know anything about Time Bomb. So when they discover it, they're like, man, this record's so good, and that makes me happy because we worked really hard on it.
It's a great record. Like I said, I bought it as soon as it came out, and I would say it's crazy, but there's a million things that happen in the record industry that make no sense. But how successful you were in your debut album, just to drop the ball on the second and play these shenanigans, it's just bizarre, very short-sighted on their end. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why they would want to do that.
there was a lot of shenanigans going on with the record labels back then. They just wasted a lot of money. And it was always the artist's money. They had to recoup it at the end of the day, and there's no more of that anymore because they're not getting this ridiculous return on their record sales like they used to. So. It is what it is. There's so many politics in the music business, and if I would have known a little better, or been more mature and just understood it better, I probably would have made a different decision. We would have. We made it collectively as a band, but it is what it is, and that's the reason that record did what it did.
Yeah, listen, it all worked out okay. You're here over 20 years later, right? And you had your revenge, if you want to call that, with 15, your Monster album, which was amazing. So it didn't take you that long. Probably at the time it seemed like a long time, but looking back, just a couple years later.
Everybody was calling us has-beens before that. No one would sign that record, and it's incredible, that story, that comeback story.
It is. It's a great one. You've put out a lot of great records since, and the new one, Hellbound, is awesome. How's the reception been for that one? It's been out, I guess, almost a year now.
Yeah, our 9th record is Hellbound. We dropped it around June last year, and it's so special. I feel like it's the best Buckcherry record, but everybody has their own argument. But it's an incredible record. We worked really hard on it. We spent all of 2020 focusing on it through all the madness that was going on. We were focusing on Hellbound, and it really paid off. And we got Marty Fredrickson producing it, and he co-wrote a lot of songs with us on that record. And we just had so much synergy, between us. It was effortless and fun, and we wrote a lot of songs. We wrote 28 songs to get down to those 10.
Wow!
So we were really thorough, and it paid off.
You're going to use some of those extras for the next one, you think? You're going to start fresh when you're ready for your next one?
Yeah, there's a couple that we're looking at that are going to be on the new record, but we've already written. We have 8 songs for the new record already, and Stevie and I are writing every time we have a week here, a week there at home. We drop a song, and we're rolling in. We'll be recording the new record by December this year.
That's awesome. Sometime mid next year it'll be coming out probably?
Yes, summer.
Awesome. And I got to tell you, when I saw you in September, again, I was just blown away. You got a real strong band. I would imagine you're very happy with the lineup right now. You've had a lot of changes over the years, but this one seems incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely the best lineup. We're all, we all come from that old school. We're all around the same age, which is really nice, and everybody gets along, and everybody is just great players, So, and we all have a lot of respect for each other, and that's what's so important when you're out here day in and day out, and you're sacrificing so much, to be away from your families, and you have to have a lot of respect, because you're living in tight quarters all the time. So, really having a good time.
That's awesome. So a couple of more questions for you, if you don't mind. One, not so much a question, but a comment. Your Covers album, the Covers Volume 1. And
yes.
No reason to ask your influences because they're all on there, obviously, which are all great. But one struck out at me. Your cover of I've Done Everything for You. I'm curious. Were you covering that from the Rick Springfield version, or are you familiar with the Sammy Hagar 70s version that wasn't really popular in this country? But what's the story behind that cover?
Anyway, yeah, I'm a huge Rick Springfield fan. I loved all those songs, and that was my perspective. But then I found out that Sammy was the one who wrote it, and so we went back and listened to that one as well. And we love Sammy as well. We've done shows with him, and he's such a nice person, great musician as well, a great singer and guitar player, and so it was both guys we dig, so it was a no-brainer.
That's awesome. And yeah, I don't know if you're aware, those two are buddies now. Now they're partners in one of his alcohols, one of his rums or something, I think.
Oh,
Him and Rick.
That's really cool.
It's funny. They're like
really
in their
cool.
70s now, which is crazy. They're both in their mid-70s and still going and playing. How amazing is that? It's very inspiring.
Yeah, showbiz will keep you young as long as you stay in it. You always got to be, doing it, and you can stay young for a long time.
And you guys like your covers. I won't give away in case you're still doing it, but you did a very humorous and fun cover at the Agora Hills show that I saw of a great 70s TV show theme song.
Jefferson.
Yes. Oh, if you want to give it away, that's okay. I didn't want to give it away and let you play it, but I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
This is hilarious. Is that something you commonly do?
That stuff, some of that stuff is just improvised live, and then we'll do it once, and we just improvise it because we're just riffing, and then we'll see the audience react to it, and we're like, let's do the whole, let's do a whole like piece on it, and that works. But sometimes we do Summer of '69 there. Sometimes we do Tush, ZZ Top, and so it all works. We just throw it around, and when we're in Canada, we'll do Summer of '69, and that goes off really well.
There you go. Yep, keep it for the Canadians. Excellent. So looking forward to seeing what you pull out of your bag of tricks on June 4th when you're playing the Ocean View Pavilion here in Port Hueneme. I have one last question for you. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
This is the 5th anniversary of the Pure Rock Show here. I've been doing this 5 years, which is crazy. And part of that I had on my Instagram. People were giving me their top 5s. I had a bunch of different categories. Top 5 debut albums, top 5 this, top 5 that. If I was to ask you your top 5 most influential bands or top 5 bands that you've been into pretty much your whole life, what would you say they were?
Oh, wow. What genre?
And any genre.
All genres?
All genres, absolutely.
Oh, man. I would say, Prince, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, The Cult.
Nice.
And James Brown.
Wow. That's a great mix, and it makes sense. You got the funk, you got the rock. That's great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Josh, I can't thank you enough for calling in. It's been great to talk to you. Like I said, I've been a fan of your band for over 20 years. I'm so psyched I finally got to see you, and you're still going strong and better than ever. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was a great interview, and we'll see you. Come say hello when we come out.
Absolutely. Everybody, June 4th at the Ocean View Pavilion at Port Hueneme. Check out Buckcherry. Be a great show.